All right, so the next special right triangle that we're going to talk about is called the 30, 60, 90 triangle. It's created when we take an equilateral triangle and we cut it in half, and it creates this 30, 60, and 90 degree triangle. So just like with our 45, 45 degree triangles, we have what's called our parent triangle, in which you get to use on the test. You don't have to memorize this. So let's say the 30 was here and the 60 was here. The 30 and the 1 go together. The 60 matches with root 3, and then across from the 90 is 2. So this is our parent triangle. So we're going to use that and we're going to match it to this triangle. So we're going to match them up. So I always think it's easier to start with the 90 degree. So just like in the last problems, this 90 degree is pointing to the 2. Well, over here, the 90 degree is pointing to the y. So that means the 2 and the y are paired together. So I'm going to put the 2 with the y. Okay, now let's look here. The 60 degrees is pointing at the root 3, right? The 60 degrees is pointing at the root 3. If I look here, the 60 degrees is pointing at the 15. So that means the root 3 and the 15 go together. So I'm going to put the root 3 with the 15. Okay, now the 30 degrees is pointing to the 1. So if I look here, if this is 60 and this is 90, that means this has to be 30. And the 30 degrees here is pointing to the x. So that means the 1 and the x are paired together, so I'm going to put the x over 1. Okay, so now we're going to set up our proportion. So if I want to solve for x, I'm going to do x over 1 equals, now let's think about this. If I want to solve for x, do I really want to pick y? No, right? I don't want to have x over 1 equals y over 2. That's not going to be very helpful. So if I'm not allowed to pick y, then that means all I have left is 15 over root 3. So I'm going to say that equals 15 over root 3. Okay, now we're going to cross multiply. X times root 3 equals 15 times 1. The opposite of multiply is divide. We're not allowed to have a square root on the bottom, so I'm going to multiply by root 3 on top and bottom. On the top, we have 15 times root 3. On the bottom, we have root 3 times root 3, which is just 3. Finally, in our calculators, 15 divided by 3 gives us 5. So our final answer is 5 root 3. Okay, now if we look at the directions though, it said find x and y. So I found x, now I need to find y. So I'm going to use y over 2 equals, now once again, if I want to do y over 2, I don't want to pick x over 1. So that means my only option is to use the 15 over root 3 again. And that's okay, you can use it twice because you don't want to set the x and the y equal. So you want to set the x equal to the 15 over root 3. We also want to set the y equal to the 15 over root 3. Now we're going to cross multiply. So we have y times root 3 equals 2 times 15, which is 30. To undo multiplication, we use division. We're not allowed to have a square root on the bottom, so we're going to multiply by root 3 so that we can fix that. That gives us y equals 30 times root 3 over root 3 times root 3, which is just plain 3. 30 divided by 3 in our calculators gives us 10, and then the root 3 stays there. So there's our final answer. 10 root 3. Okay, now let's look at number 19. So we're going to match them up. So if I look at 19, this is a 60, 90, 30 triangle. So now we're going to match these up with these guys. So the 90 is pointing to the 2, The 90 is pointing to the 10, so the 10 is going to go with the 2. The 30 is pointing to the x. The 30 is pointing to the 1, so the x is going to go with 1. The 60 is pointing to root 3. The 60 is pointing to y, so y is going to go with root 3. Now we're going to set up our proportions. So x over 1 equals 10 over 2. Well, x divided by 1 is just x. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Oh, look, I'm done. That was an easy one. Now let's do y. Y over root 3 equals 10 over 2. Cross multiply. Y times 2 is 2y. 10 times root 3 is 10 times root 3, right? I can't multiply them because this has a square root and this doesn't. This is 2 times y, so the opposite of multiplying is dividing. 10 divided by 2 gives us 5, so 5 root 3. Okay, let's do 23 next. So on 23, we're going to match them up. So the 90-degree angle here is pointing to the y. On here, the 90-degree angle is pointing to 2. So y and 2 match. The 60 degrees is pointing to the 12. The 60 degrees is pointing to the root 3. So the 12 matches with the root 3, which means x matches with 1. So I took each of these numbers, 1, 2, 3, and matched it up 1, 2, 3. Now I can set up my proportions. So x over 1 equals, I don't want to pick y, so that leaves me with 12 over root 3. Cross multiply. X times root 3 equals 12 times 1. The opposite of multiply is divide. Can't have a square root on the bottom. 12 times root 3. Root 3 times root 3. 12 divided by 3. 4 root 3. Okay, now let's do y. Y over 2 equals 12 over root 3. Cross multiply. 12 times 2, 24. Divide by root 3. Divide by root 3. Can't have a root 3 on the bottom. 24 times root 3 over 3. 24 divided by 3 is 8. All right, I would like you guys to try some of these other ones and then move on to your homework.